Welcome to our Friday Golden Black Live edition, December 20th. Happy holidays to all. We appreciate and thank our sponsors, Triple X on the hill, but on the level, the Purdue tradition since 1929. And of course, State Farm agent Trent Johnson at trentismyagent.com. During this holiday season, we're extra grateful for them. They've been supporters of us for a very, very long time. Now, a couple programming notes. We will have shows basically weekly during Big Ten basketball season. There'll be some weeks when we may have to jump out a little bit, but we'll keep you posted on that. But also today's show will include Coach Barry Odom in segment 1 in an interview that was conducted on Wednesday. And then, of course, Tom Dienhart and Brian Newbert will join us in segment 2 and 3 to talk some Purdue football and basketball, respectively. So without further ado, here's the full interview with Coach Barry Odom of the Purdue football program. We are privileged to have Coach Barry Odom join us for this segment. Named Purdue's head coach not all that long ago, has been probably had a head on a swivel here over the last few days, to say the least. And I'm going to have my colleague Tom Dienhart fire the first salvo for the coach. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Barry, hey, thanks a lot. Again, appreciate you giving us some of your time. Again, I know you can't speak to specifics on your staff aside from Lamar Kennard being retained, but kind of give viewers a sense of the direction the staff's going. Is it finished, Barry, and when will it be announced?
Yeah, great to see you guys. Thanks. A little bit of background on all the things that you've done for college football. I sure appreciate it. That you've covered it. I'm not saying anything about age. I'm saying you guys have great experience. And
age is there too. Go ahead.
I certainly look forward to working with you guys and respect the job that you do. So thank you. The one thing when I got this job, I knew that we would be able to attract, in my belief, a very strong elite coaching staff. And that has held very, very true on the guys that we've had an opportunity to visit with, to interview, to Zoom, to find a way to make a connection. Most all of them are still competing in postseason play. So it's been a little bit longer on some of the announcements on how we can do that, because there's so many different, ways that you have to communicate, lining up with where they are, the time zones, the time around their schedules. But we've got a staff put together that's really, really strong in every single area. And, we're really close to getting all 10 full-time assistants hired, signed on, and feel really strong about that staff, about that group. And then you move around the organization on all the different moving parts, from support staff to all the things with that. And, that's what I've spent most of my time on, along with recruiting and hopefully retention of some players here in the last few days. But really excited because there's so many people that want to be here across the country. And I feel strong about the group that we put together, starting with the coordinators and then down every position group. It'll be a great staff that will represent Purdue in a great way. And we're going to coach winning football that'll get us back into the winner's circle really quickly.
Hey, Barry, how many of those staffers you think will be on campus by Thursday or Friday?
Out of the 10 assistant coaches, I think we'll have at least 5 to 6 here. I think we're close to getting that done.
And then the portal, everybody's always wringing their hands about the portal and the roster. What's going to happen to the Purdue roster?
Yep.
Kind of give our viewers a sense of where you're at with the portal. Looks like you have some offers out to guys. I'm sure you anticipate maybe some people or some players from UNLV following you. Just kind of give viewers again a sense of your emphasis on the portal, and then maybe even how many guys you would suspect from UNLV that may come to West Lafayette to follow you.
Yeah, I think recruiting is something that obviously will build the foundation of this program moving forward through high school recruiting, through junior college 4-year transfers, on what that looks like. The roster management piece over the last couple of years has become something that it's ever changing on the abilities for players to come and go. So the calendar is aligned with that now is the open time for some of those transfers to take place. There's going to be another round of guys enter the portal after bowl games are over. And I think a number of guys are waiting to see who's hired from an assistant coaching standpoint, which is important. The informed decisions that the guys need to make. We're starting with official visits today. We got some kids coming in, and that'll go through the weekend. I would suspect that we'll have some commitments come out of that. But I think the ability for us to be a winning program is going to start in high school recruiting. That's not going to change. And I think the things that we were able to do at my last stop, in really 2 recruiting cycles, we signed over 60 high school players, and that builds the foundation of your program. We also were very select and direct in the portal world on what that looked like, and attracted some high level players that I had experiences with before, either recruiting or coaching. We had 5 All-Americans the last 2 years at UNLV. 4 of those 5 were transfers that came into our program. So we will live in both worlds. We'll be very, very aggressive in how we recruit our state and surrounding areas from a high school standpoint. I want guys and high school coaches to know if they send a student athlete to Purdue that they're going to have great coaching. They're going to get a degree that's very, very meaningful, and we're going to compete and win championships. And the open invitation for all the high school coaches to come see us, be around us. I want them to feel invested in our program. Also, it's about relationships. Yes, it's about NIL and rev share. It's about all encompassing with that. But at the end of the day, the relationship piece, when people who have either coached before, had a chance to develop a relationship with them through recruiting or coaching, we stand a strong chance to get a number of guys to come here and finish out their career, whether it's one season or multiple. I'm excited about how we will change the roster. The first year that we were at UNLV, we had 55 new players. I mean, that was just the way of how we transformed the roster. And I didn't ever think we would get close to that number again. But then the next year we had 50 new players. So how can you galvanize those guys together? How can you form that, what you think is best for your current place? And we'll be really, really aggressive in that. And I know everybody wants to see what that's going to look like. It's going to take a little bit of time because I want to get the right guys in here. And I also want the guys that are here on the current roster, I want them to stay. And, we're going to lose some, we're going to keep some. And unfortunately or fortunately, that's the way of where we're at in college football right now.
Hey, Barry, yeah. Can you say for sure, are you going to get 1 or 2 quarterbacks out of the portal?
Well, I think if you look at how we're going to build the roster, number one, I like the quarterbacks that are here currently. So we're trying to keep those guys. But then also I think if you don't have 2 to 3 quarterbacks on your roster that can play winning football and make it really, really hard. So we're looking at all positions. And I do, Tom, I think it would be wise for us to look at all areas from high school to junior college to 4-year transfers at every single position. And quarterback is certainly one of those.
Yeah. And then Tom, I'll just one quick question on just managing chaos. I mean, it is a very chaotic situation going into maybe June 30th. It'll settle down. But what is, in your background, you're pretty stoic about dealing with this. You got to deal with what's in front of you. But what, as this has continued to evolve, how have you kind of kept yourself looking straight ahead and getting the job done?
Well, I've got really strong conviction on what the program is going to look like, how we're going to get there, the process of what is right and how you build it. And then also, guys, I think, as you know, you've got to surround yourself with really, really good people. And I know who's coming in here as in the different roles. I'm excited about that. I know that they're thrilled to be representing Purdue. And so once we get those guys here and what that looks like, the players are going to follow the ones that are here and the ones that we're going to bring here. So I know the vision of what it looks like. And I don't say that, guys, I'm not saying it arrogantly. This I'm confident in what we're going to do. And, I know that the foundation, once we get started January 13th with our team, whatever that looks like, we're going to build it the right way. And I'm excited about getting into our winter conditioning program. I'm excited to get into our winning edge program. I'm excited to get into spring practice and what that looks like, the development of the team. And then there's another window of how you add players to your program in another portal window after spring. So, and then you get into summer ball, and everything in the, everyone in the building is going to have a very distinct and clear-cut job description. They understand that we've got a tremendous responsibility to get this flipped and turn it into a winning program. And I'm excited just to get everybody here.
Hey, Barry, general manager, how soon do you expect that person to sit in their chair in West Lafayette? And specifically, what will the roles of that person be? Will they just be like a talent evaluator? Will they be a guy who negotiates NIL deals? Can you kind of explain maybe bullet points on the job descriptions and what will be asked of that person?
Yeah, Tom, it's a great question, because you look at every organization is different on what they have the general manager to do. It's such a new term, in college football. Ours will be on campus within the next 48 hours. He is well versed in the world of what that looks like. He's been at a couple different spots and have raised their program in the world of NIL, in retention and roster management. So he'll have a piece in that, a big part of what we look like, at least structure wise with that. But also there's some things because of his familiarity with this area. He's going to be really big in our recruiting process. He's going to do a great job on helping evaluate, the market of transfers and then high school recruiting on what that looks like for us. So the umbrella that he will live under with an assistant that he has, we'll put a lot on him. But it's so important in how we're going to design this program on their roles and what that looks like. Not only being aggressive in that world, but also the ability to navigate the roster management piece and making sure that we're on the forefront of the ever-changing rules that we are living by.
Take us back through when the opportunity came its way, and you're building that relationship with Mike Babinski, but take a little bit of the process of how, obviously Purdue made a change on the 1st of December. That job became open, and that started the process. But to talk about that and why Purdue was high on your radar when that opportunity came about.
Yeah, I think you look at from really the end of the year, when there started to be maybe some change going to happen. The first conversation that Mike and I had, I knew about Purdue, obviously, the storied history, a little more familiar with it because of geographic location and where I'd been before. The familiarity with the fan base because we played here, when I was the head coach at Missouri. And then in the Big Ten Conference, immediately was attracted to the position. And then when Mike and I had our initial conversation, then my level of excitement grew exponentially because of his passion and vision and how important that is for me to partner with him to get this where we need to be. So after the first call, it was a couple of days, as we were finishing up, having an opportunity to continue to compete with my current team. So, the initial call was, would you be interested? And I said, yes. And then we worked through, what the timing looked like from there. And respectfully, Purdue handled it wonderfully because I couldn't talk to them and then do the job I needed to finish the season going into the championship. So they waited until we were done. And then, I was very thankful for that. And then after our last, our championship game, then it was really heavy in discussions. We played on a Friday night. So all day, that Saturday was really, really busy on seeing how things aligned. Was there, was it going to work on both sides? And I was really excited that the process on the way that Mike went about it. And he's a great leader. And, I feel the responsibility to get this program right for him. And, been excited now for a week to be able to work with him. And I think the every way that you turn, the people that make up Purdue University and the people that I've had a chance to work with, the alignment is there. They're strong in their belief on what our university is, what our athletic department is, and where our football team needs to go.
Barry, you've had a chance to look around, evaluate the structure of the program. Are you satisfied with how personnel-wise the staffing is in the recruiting department for high school recruiting and portal recruiting? Do you think you'll need to augment that? Or again, do you think that they're staffed appropriately?
Well, I think you look at every staff's different in the makeup, just because, you go to a certain college and you look online about, how their staff makeup is. There's a lot of things in there. You're like, well, I wonder what that role is or that position. I think they've given every opportunity for us to build it the way that we see necessary to compete not only in the Big Ten but nationally. The administration's done absolutely everything to give us those things that we need. So there's been a lot of restructure done in the last week. That'll continue to happen, and as we add pieces and maybe look at job descriptions on what someone in the organization did, and maybe how we can tweak some of those things that will make us run efficiently in the way that I think our program should be.
Barry, I know you've had a chance to meet with, I think, every player. Was there one overriding theme or message you heard from players when you were talking to them, trying to get some feedback on where the program was at and where they may want to be headed?
Well, I looked at, we had a team meeting and then set up individual meetings with everybody that was still in town. Some of those guys had already left because their finals were over and they had already gone back home. So I didn't face-to-face. I didn't have an opportunity to meet with each individual player in the office, but certainly have connected with, in some way or fashion. The overriding term was they were hungry for an opportunity to get back to winning ways and what that looked like. And more than anything, there's always reasons that you either have success or you don't. And, not to dive into a lot of what, the reasons we didn't last year here. I don't know. I want the guys that choose to stay here and what we do as a staff. I want to be judged on what we do from the day I got the job until our first game. And then let's judge the win-loss record after that. Nothing before we got here even really registers or matters, honestly. And that I say that very respectfully. I didn't earn that, good or bad. I didn't earn it. What we have is, from the day we've started, how we're going to move this thing forward.
Yeah. You had an opportunity, obviously, you learn in a professional career in coaching from things that worked and things that didn't. Missouri, you were a 500 record. It ended up not working out. What did you learn from that experience, and how are you different? How do you think you'll be different as a head coach after Missouri than your assistant coach experience and then going to UNLV? How have you evolved from that standpoint? What did you learn?
Well, I do know I'm a heck of a lot better coach today than I was last year at this time, and light years ahead of where I was when I got the job at Missouri in 2016 or 15, whenever that was. I think we all learn from experience in all walks of life. And, there were some things that we did really, really well at Mizzou. There were some things that you look at now, it's like, man, I could change some of those things up and it would be better. We did 3 out of 4 years. We qualified for bowl postseason play there. Got fired after going 6-6. We came up short. So, the thing you do, you get up, you dust yourself off, you look in the mirror, you're able to evaluate what you did well, what you need to change. And then you evolve and you find answers. There's solutions and answers everywhere. If you're willing enough to be vulnerable, find what's best for that team, and then go implement them. So I think, I've learned every step of the way, every stop of the way, and taken something from every program I've been in And this team that we create here will be so much different than the team I coached last year. Every team is different, but I do believe in the way that we practice our structure. That's evolved for me over the years. I think we're very, very efficient. I think everybody in the program is going to get equal amount of reps. You look at the opportunity to build teams that way. Some of the philosophies that I had in recruiting and what I know now on how to do things have changed dramatically for me on the structure of what that looks like on building a recruiting department and how involved I need to be as the head coach. And also, in the way of college football with NIL and revenue share, I mean, that stuff didn't exist when I was there. So, we transformed, the last place I was with some of those ways, but also foundationally, it's down to getting guys that, fit the things that you want culturally in your program. You've got an opportunity to build something here with guys that align with the things that I believe in. You got to like ball. You got to like the process. The habits are going to end up defining and be exposed on game day. And how we build that is a lot of fun for me. I also look at the chance to surround yourself with really good coaches and how important that is for an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator. Because, there were times learning at Mizzou on some of the things that, I was trying to do a lot of things. I was trying to be the head coach. It was also, the defensive coordinator some at times. You just learn by experience. And I think more than anything, surrounding yourself with really, really good people that can thrive. And my job to build them up as the head coach in their roles. I've got a little different perspective on that now than I did then.
All right. Time for one more question from Tom and maybe a follow-up, and fire away, Tom.
Yeah, just real quick, Barry, we know revenue sharing starts July 1st. But again, the future of collectives in the Boilermaker Alliance, do you see a place in the college sports landscape, specifically football, where a Boilermaker Alliance and collectives are going to be needed and can be valuable or not?
Oh, absolutely. I think you look at the opportunities for that area specifically to continue to help this program. I think it's, in how does that coexist? I think it's going to be hugely important for the success of our athletic department. It's different. It's a different way of thinking on what the traditional method has been for years and years and years now. But also there's ways to transform and change the experience for student athletes. And it's so important that we have the involvement of all those that care about Purdue. And, there'll be some transition time on really what that looks like. And, collectively together with our athletic department on how we're putting that together. There's so many alumni, so many supporters at Purdue. That's another reason that I really wanted this job, because I think it's an elite job in all of college sport.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Happy holidays to you. And hopefully you get a little time to share them with your family. Family on the way to West Lafayette, I assume, at some point in time. And we appreciate that very much. Thanks again.
Guys, have a great one. I appreciate it. Happy holidays.
You too,
all right. We will be back in a couple minutes with our next segment of Gold and Black Live. And again, thanks, Coach Barry Odom, for joining us.